In this video, we are going to go through the Agribank loan application form, the electronic version, and check all the required fields that must be completed by the clients, and to give a few tips as well as we go through it. On the first page, it's important that the client selects just roughly what type of loan that they want. They're required to select this, and they're required to put in an application date. They're also required to give us a basic idea of their loan purpose by building up the loan amount that they ultimately want from us. This will give us a good indication in terms of the loan amount that they need. If the client does not submit any of the required fields on a page, then they are not allowed to continue to the next pages. So for example, I'll delete the date field here, and you will see that if I want to go to the next page, I cannot, because it will highlight very clearly to me that there is certain required fields that are missing. So once it is filled in, there should not be a problem to continue to the next page. The next page on the application form is the checklist. Now here is a list of additional documents that the clients should upload. Now depending on the type of application that they've selected on the first page, depending on this, the checklist will automatically change in terms of the required documents that needs to be uploaded. So when you look at this, what you need to do is to look at the uploaded documents, see if there are documents missing, look at the documents uploaded by simply clicking on them to open them, to clearly see the documents, and then you know exactly whether the quality is good enough as well. So here with time we will increase the requirement that certain documents must be uploaded, but because we're in the very early stages of rolling out this online application form, we're only requiring that the ID document is uploaded. This will require you to have a discussion with your client and to tell them which documents they still need for their specific loan. And they can go and, because you will provide the link to them, they can go and simply upload the documents to the right places themselves. On page 3 is the personal information of the client. Here it is critical that and compulsory that they fill in almost all the fields, especially the ID number and birthday, and marital status, surname and first name. We do not require the spouse details to be filled in because this option might be open if it's an individual. However, if you do pick up during your discussions that the spouse is also part of the application, then the spouse section needs to be filled in as well. We do provide the option for clients to fill in or upload a photo of themselves. This will ultimately go into our database so that we can see exactly what our clients look like. But this is optional at the moment. On the fourth page, we require the contact information of the client and also next of kin details from your client. What is compulsory at the moment is the proper email address and mobile number with the +264 must be given. So if you go and check the application, make sure that if the client did not put in the +264, that you just update the mobile number. This will automatically mean that once this format of number is received, the client can automatically receive SMSs from SAI as their application progresses. On the fifth page of the application form, the client needs to provide their postal address and residential physical address. Here, the postal town and PO box is compulsory. Physical address can be put in as well. If the physical address is on the farm, you can simply click yes and then fill in the farm name and number. Otherwise, it's the street name and street number that is compulsory. The resident town is compulsory, as well as the region in which the customer stays. The sixth page on the application form gives us an idea of who the customer is by sketching a profile. So on the personal profile, the very first thing client needs to fill in is the occupation, whether they're full-time employed, self-employed, or employed on contract, the level of education, what type of salary they're earning annually. Then on the farming profile, the farm name and farm number, the district and region, the farming mode in terms of full-time or part-time, the farming region, and the typical activity and income from that activity on the farm. Then finally, how many full-time farm employees there are currently, seasonal farm employees there are currently, and then should they receive the loan approval, how that number then changes for seasonal farm workers and for full-time farm employees. On page 7, the client provides more information about their employment. Obviously, if they do have an employer, then information needs ultimately to be filled in, including the latest payslip. The spouse's employer information can also be filled in. At the moment, this is not compulsory, but if it's required in your review, then the client just needs to provide this information. On page 8, the client is required to provide a signed KYC document. They can download the document from the website by clicking either one of these icons. If it's individual, they pretty much click the KYC1 link. Otherwise, they click the enhanced due diligence form that needs to be downloaded, filled in and signed. That signed KYC document is then uploaded here. For you, it's simply clicking on the link of the uploaded document to check that it's signed and completed, and that's pretty much the check that you do. On page 9, the client is required to provide their banking details that we will ultimately be using and recording, and they're also required to provide us the details of their bank manager, including their contact details at the very least. Should your client require to provide a balance sheet, they can simply upload their own balance sheet here, straightforward, and you can actually just click on it to open it up to actually review it. However, if your client does not have its own balance sheet and you want to either assist them or they can use this form to ultimately build their own balance sheet, they do this by build balance sheet by selecting yes, and by doing that they can add all the details for their balance sheet, their assets, liabilities and so forth, to ultimately get a basic balance sheet that can be submitted as part of the form. The same for the income statement page. Here the client, should they be required, upload their cash flow forecast. So this can be their own that they ultimately upload here. They can upload their own income statement here as well. Should they not have their own income statement and you want to assist them in building an income statement for them, you can use the build income statement function by simply selecting yes and then creating a basic income statement that can be part of the application. This is the final submit page of the loan application form, where the client selects the branch where they want to be serviced, including the possible date for an appointment that the sales consultant can use should the client want to come in for a visit. Typically the client will also electronically sign here, although this is not mandatory for now. Yes, they need to put some kind of signature there that's electronic, but ultimately we look at the contract that will ultimately be signed as the final form of signature for this transaction. Now, what is extremely important for sales consultants is once you have reviewed this application, you are happy that everything has been submitted. You must select for application status, must be moved from in progress to completed. It is super critical that you remember this, otherwise your compliance steps that you need to follow will not work properly inside. So please remember that if you've not done this, is after you're happy with all the information that has been submitted, please change application status to completed, and just we use this for SAP. Select the type of customer that you're typically dealing with at the moment. Either it's a commercial customer, commercial affirmative action, communal NACP, or corporate. Just select the appropriate one there. Once that is done, you can press submit to save this status and the work that you've been working on as well. It's probably also very important to tell your customers this, that if they do updates on their application, that they go to the last page and submit the form so that all the changes can be saved.